Hey guys, what's up? Eva here with EvaBlendino.com, and today I want to talk about how you can promote your newest piece of content, your awesome new video or blog post, whatever piece of content you're creating for your business, how to promote it across 7 different channels, 7 different, I guess you can call them distribution channels, but we're going to go down the line one by one with the first one, and I do have a list here because I want to make sure that I go through each and every single one of them. The first one being your email list, of course, right? So you want to go ahead and notify your subscribers that you have a new blog post or a new video for them to watch, whatever it is that you want them to consume. And keep in mind that your email list, you already should have a relationship with your email list. So it's not like you have to craft or draft this very professional, editorial piece that's gonna, it's a very conversational email. It's gonna go out the same way you would send out an email to a coworker that you're friends with, or a friend, or a fellow business owner. Hey, Eva, what's going on? I hope you're having a great day. Just wanted to let you know that I've created this, I've written this new blog post. I really think you'd get some value from it. This is what it's about. Why don't you go here, click here to check it out. Remember that the idea is to get them to click on that link as soon as possible and drive traffic to your website. You don't have to go in through the whole, don't give this super deep backstory to why you wrote the blog post. Very simple, to the point, get them to read your blog post or watch your video, and in the video or in the blog post you can go into more detail about it. If you've taken the step to segment your list, this is going to ensure that you're going to have an even greater response rate. And what I mean by segmenting your list, I mean is, have you created different lists under which your subscribers are going to fall in, different buckets? And I went through this. That was one of the topics that I discussed in my last blog post, where I kind of walked you guys through Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Income's business model. And one of the things that he does is that he segments his list. And I did actually create a walkthrough video that I can link to somewhere down below that you can actually subscribe to watch. And that's really important, because when you're creating a new piece of content that's going to be specifically speaking to a direct segment of your list, then you're even going to create, remember that the end goal when you're going to promote your content, the end goal is to drive traffic to it, right? So at the end of the day, if you have a list of 1,000 people and this specific topic really only talks to about 100 of them, send it to just those 100 subscribers where you know that this is going to resonate with them. You can actually write the email in such a way that you're speaking directly at them. Why? Because you know, you've segmented your list in a way that you know who these people are, so you can speak to them, right? So if you want to learn how I segmented my list the same way that Pat Flynn has it in his business, go ahead and check out that walkthrough video that I created. I think it's maybe at the most 13 minutes long, and it really walks you through step by step. The next thing you want to do is social media, right? Obviously, you want to promote your content on social media, and the first one I want to talk about is Facebook. With Facebook, if you haven't burned every single possible person out there by spamming them with constantly posting about a business opportunity or whatnot, or talking about yourself constantly, if you are actually sharing with them content that they will find valuable, you're going to have a better reaction out of people than if you have been historically known to spam and self-promote and all this stuff, right? They may just think, oh, this is going to be her again talking about herself. So let's just preface with that. So if you already have a healthy relationship with your Facebook friends and followers, you sharing a blog post on your wall, on your fan page, will get a good response. But let's get into the second part of this. But organic reach has diminished a lot on Facebook, and there's 2 reasons, and Facebook gives 2 reasons for that, which are pretty common sense reasons. There is content being created at speeds we could not have even imagined years ago. So you could imagine how our news feeds are just getting bombarded with content that's being created, and then not only is it being created, it's also being shared in so many different directions. But then at the same time, not only is it being created in such a way that it's so fast, you want to remember that Facebook is creating an experience for its users. It's not creating a platform for advertisers and business owners to promote themselves in. So you want to keep that in mind. They, you know, in one of their last conferences, Mark Zuckerberg was very specific about that. You know, he's not there. Facebook isn't there for us, the business owner and the advertiser. It's there for the mom that wants to be in touch with her family or her high school friends or whatever the case may be, or the guy that wants to keep in touch with his football buddies. So it's not there for us to advertise ourselves in. So you want to go ahead and keep in mind those two things. So when you think about that, what you want to do is take it a step further then and either boost your post or advertise, meaning run an ad either through Ad Manager or Power Editor. I usually use a Power Editor really because I can get a little bit more specific, but if you're just, and again, I'm not a Facebook guru or anything, but I like to go out of, I like to use the editor just because I can get a little bit more specific. You can use the Ad Manager to promote your post. If you're just starting out, that's perfectly fine too. Keep in mind that driving traffic to your website is the end goal. And I've always said driving traffic to your website, it's not gonna be free ever. It will cost you time and or money, and I don't know about you, but I value both of those, right? So you want to be smart about how you promote your content. If you want to promote for free, I'm going to give you 5 other ways for you to promote your content to drive traffic to your website to get people to consume your content. But at the same time, if you want to have a little bit of some support, driving traffic is tough to a website. Anybody that tells you it's easy by just sharing a link, really that's a lie. Okay, you can spend a lot of time promoting in these different channels and these different outlets that I'm going to talk to you guys about today. But at the end of the day, you also want to have some help, and that is running ads. And you know, my last blog post that I promoted, I was getting 26 cent clicks on average. That's really nothing. I was spending about $5 in the beginning, and then it ramped up, and then I took it up to $10 to drive traffic. And I was able to not only drive traffic, but I also generated some leads from that. So you have to have a strategy behind why you're promoting this content when you are spending money, right? So those are 2 things to keep in mind about Facebook. Either run an ad or boost a post. Understand that organically your reach is going to be very limited simply because of the immense amount of content that's out there, and also the reason why Facebook recently changed their algorithm to favor the user's experience. The next place you want to promote your content is, of course, and I'm going to give you 4 social media platforms. I use these 4. These are the ones that I feel the most comfortable with. If you have another outlet out there that is a social media platform, find a way for you to promote your content in a way that is not pushy and it's not salesy. So the next one is Instagram. Now, Instagram is very different than Facebook, of course. I like to think about Facebook as a networking event, right? Where you're going and you're hanging out and you're talking to people, and it's a 2-way conversation. Instagram is very different in the sense that it's a lot more like that guy that you see spinning a sign on the side of the street while you're going 35, 45 miles an hour on your way to work or pick up your kids at school. But you're seeing this sign, and is it strong enough of a call to action? Is it strong enough of a color? Is it strong enough of an attention grabber that's going to make you think, oh, well, I have to remember to drop by that new restaurant or try that new car wash or whatever they're promoting, right? So the same thing goes for Instagram. You want to use visually appealing designs when you create a post. At the same time, you also want to use hashtags. Instagram is great for hashtags much more than Twitter, because the way that we interact with Twitter is using hashtags. Instagram is using hashtags to find content. And a lot of it is we search, we take a picture of it, we share it on our feed, right? That's usually the behavior. Whatever behavior you use for your personal Instagram usage, that's the same thing that's going to happen with your consumer, right? With your customer, with your clients. So keeping that in mind, you know how they're using Instagram. So if you know they're searching for hashtags, you want to use the right hashtag. So the right hashtag combined with a very visually appealing design that's going to get them to stop scrolling and stop and say, well, let me check this profile out. The right post can get you 20, 30, 40 new followers, 40 new fans that you can eventually nurture to check out your website. Now, one thing, and that reminds me of something that I want to talk about, is remember that social media is, and it's something that I recently heard Gary Vaynerchuk say, social media is not a sprint. It really isn't a sprint. It is something that's going to take time. And people don't have the patience for that. People want immediate results. So that's what I meant by running an ad, right? If you want to see instant traffic to your website, then run an ad to your blog post. But if you want to engage with your audience and build that rapport and build that relationship, then organically using social media will work, but it will take a little bit longer than if you were to pay for an ad to drive traffic to be a sponsored post, right? So with that being said, hashtag is great. Hashtags are great on Instagram because with every single post that I share on my Instagram, I gain new followers. No questions asked. I don't have to even wonder. I don't have to say, well, maybe every single post that I share gets me new followers every single day. So it's a matter of every day you'll get new followers when you're using the right hashtags. So with Instagram, it's not so much so about sharing or promoting your new blog post, is getting somebody's attention to choose to follow you and engaging with them in a way that say, well, this girl's always posting really cool stuff. Let me see what she's about. Let me click on her website. Let me go visit her. So with Instagram, it's gonna be a little bit of a longer nurture process than it would be with Facebook, even organically. However, the immediate engagement is more immediate than with Facebook because it's a lot more intentional on Instagram. People are going out there looking for that hashtag and running into your post. So that's with Instagram. It's a little bit of a different strategy than with Facebook. Next is Twitter. Again, with Twitter, I always get new followers. I always get engagement every day. Every time I post something, I get engagement, I get followers. Again, it's all about the hashtag. With Twitter, is a little bit more about the hashtag, a little bit less about the visual, just because it's 160 characters. That's the appeal of Twitter. Get to the point. Give it a quick, a couple of words about what your new blog post is about. This could be 7 ways to promote your content for free, and then the link, right? And then hashtag content, hashtag marketing, hashtag blog, just because those are the terms that people are going to be searching for. Again, Twitter is great for hashtags, but it's in a different hashtags you have to approach differently on Twitter. You approach hashtags on the marketing sense. For me, is for research purposes. I want to see who is using and identifying with those hashtags. And again, I created a cheat sheet, the Twitter lead magnet cheat sheet, that shows you how, one of the things that I show you is how to run that kind of market research on Twitter using their advanced search feature. Using hashtags is one of those ways. So with Twitter, it is about hashtags, not in the same behavior as Instagram. And I can't really explain it to you, but it's very different than Instagram. You're going after those characters, get people to click, get them curious, and they actually click. It is a hyperlink, so you can drive traffic. I see traffic from Twitter on a daily basis. So the next one is Pinterest. So Pinterest is a combination of Twitter and hashtag, in the sense that you can use hashtags. It's a little bit different on Pinterest. It's a different crowd. If you know your crowd is not on Pinterest, don't use Pinterest. Remember, you don't have to be everywhere. You should be where your audience is. If your audience is not on Pinterest because, I don't know, they're not on Pinterest, then don't use Pinterest. Use the platforms that you will be able to connect with your audience with, and also use the platforms that you're gonna use. Don't post sporadically on Instagram and then go 3 months without posting and think that you're gonna actually build a relationship with people. You have to do it. And then another thing is, you have to do it consistently, and you have to keep in mind, who are you trying to reach? If you're reaching a stay-at-home mom, then you know that you want to post maybe first thing in the morning after she comes home from dropping the kids off at school. If you're reaching somebody that works a 9 to 5, you don't want to post at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Maybe post at 6:30, 7:30, 8 o'clock. So keep that in mind. You don't have to follow this rigid, what times are best on this platform and what times are best on that platform. Just use a little bit of common sense, and we'll delve into that a little bit later in this video as well. So the next thing I want to talk about is SEO. So SEO is very complicated to me. It could be very easy to you, but to me it's complicated. I'm not going to attempt to do my own SEO. What I have done, and what a lot of people do that are on WordPress, is they download the Yoast plugin. And WordPress as it is already very SEO friendly. So you've already taken that step by getting a WordPress website. But Yoast SEO forces you to actually select a keyword to optimize on that page, and it will optimize that page. I recently upgraded about 2 months ago, to the premium version of Yoast SEO. So you can get a free one and you can use one keyword. When you purchase the premium one, I think it's like $69, you can actually use long tail. And I prefer long tail for a very straightforward reason. When somebody is searching on the search engines, they're not searching for one word, maybe, but a lot of the times we're searching for phrases, right? So how do you promote content? How can I promote my new piece of content and drive traffic to my website, right? So that's a couple of keywords. But let's say you want to optimize promote content, or drive traffic, or traffic to website. It allows you to use long tail keywords to drive traffic, to optimize your site. And I prefer that a little bit better. It's $69, it's a one-time payment. It's if you're gonna invest in that, at least for SEO. If you don't have the time, or you don't feel that if you don't have the money, or you don't feel it's the right time to invest in an agency. So that's for SEO. Now let's talk about video. And going back to SEO, the purpose obviously of optimizing a blog post that you just posted is, if you've just created a blog post about how to lose 10 pounds in 10 days, you want to go ahead and make sure that content possibly comes up in the search engines. If somebody's searching, how can I lose 10 pounds before prom night? Or how can I lose 10 pounds before my high school reunion? And if you're optimizing lose 10 pounds, then you're going to be one of those blog posts that comes up, right? Again, this is not an SEO video. I'm not trying to teach you SEO, but those are one of the reasons why SEO is part of your content promotion strategy, because you have to optimize it. These search engines have to know that your blog post is there, right? If they don't know it's there, then it's never going to show up in any newsfeed. Now, keep in mind, in any results, keep in mind that SEO gets on your website will improve as you consistently create content. You keep fresh content. I know that much about SEO. The next one I want to talk about is video, and this is number 4. Yes, number 4. People consume content very differently. So I'm going to create a blog post out of this video, simply because I know some people like to read versus watch a video. Personally, I like to watch the video versus reading the blog post. I like to multitask. If I'm running on the treadmill, I want to watch the video. I may not have time to read it later on. I'd rather just consume it this way, or listen to a podcast, or whatever the case may be. People consume content differently. So create a video, create an infographic, create a podcast, create a cheat sheet, repurpose your content in a way that's going to appeal to a wider audience within your niche. Not everybody in your niche consumes content the same way. So I'm recording this video. Like I said, I'm going to create a blog post, and I'll have 2 different forms of this piece of content, teaching you how to promote your content, right? And then number 5, distribution platforms. I use 4, and later on, possibly another post, I'll probably talk about each one individually, just because they're all a little bit different, or maybe I'll just create a blog post specifically about distribution platforms, but I want to mention them to you today, and maybe mention a couple of things, or 1 or 2 things about each one. I personally use Growth Hackers, Inbound.org, Medium.com, and Reddit.com, most recently Reddit.com. Growth Hackers, you have to submit your first piece of content, and they have to approve it before they'll let you, before they'll put it on their platform. And then after that, you can post whenever you want. The first piece of content that I put on Growth Hackers, I immediately saw traffic. And the way that I know that is because I use an app called Improvely to track that, by creating a UTM parameter, like custom URL on the Google URL builder, and I guess I can link to that too. But it's really cool. I'm going off on a little tangent there, but I like to track where my traffic is coming from in a very specific way. I don't want to just know that it came from Facebook. I want to know that it came from a Facebook ad, or it came from a Facebook post. I want to know that it came from a Twitter private message that I sent someone. I want to know that it came from a Twitter post. I want to get very specific, and the only one that I can't do that with right now is Instagram, simply because, like I said earlier, you cannot hyperlink inside of the post. So Improvely lets me actually track that versus me having to track it in all different, sorry, I'm shutting, versus me having to track in all different platforms. I can actually track everything in that one platform. So that's really cool. But I did see traffic from Growth Hackers right away. I did see that also. It tells you how many eyes landed on your content, which is really cool. What I do like about Growth Hackers is that you don't just copy and paste your content kind of the way that you do on LinkedIn Pulse. And I didn't talk about LinkedIn because I personally, for my niche blog and my primary marketing consulting agency, I do use LinkedIn Pulse because I'm going after my clients in that company are physicians and healthcare providers, and that's where they are. Like I said earlier, you have to kind of go where your customers are. My customers are, a lot of them are going to be on LinkedIn. For the purpose of this, for this blog post, I'm talking specifically to small business owners and home-based entrepreneurs, and I know that a lot of them are inside of these other platforms that I discussed. So getting back to Growth Hackers, you don't just copy and paste the post. You actually give a snippet, or maybe you copy and paste the first 2 sentences, and then you actually link it to your website. So when people see those first 2 sentences and they say, oh, well, this sounds interesting, I want to read more, and it says read full post, it actually takes people to your website. So that's why you will be able to see traffic right away. If it's obviously a topic that will interest your audience, then you will be able to see it right away. You can tag what your topic is about. Not quite sure really how that works in the sense of the algorithm of Growth Hackers. I believe it was Growth Hackers that I tried to enter another kind of tag, and it really wouldn't let me. So I know that it's something that I personally, the algorithm of Growth Hackers, I don't know, but I can tell you that I did see traffic the same day coming to my blog from Growth Hackers. The next one is inbound.org, and that one almost kind of works the same as Growth Hackers in the sense that you give a 1 to 2 sentence sneak peek to your post, and then you link it, and then when they click on it, it actually goes to your blog post. One thing that I saw on inbound.org that I didn't get on Growth Hackers was the interaction. Immediately I saw that there was a lot of interaction going on, and I like that because that means that they actually went to your blog and actually read it and came back with feedback, which is really cool. So I do like that. The next one is Medium. Medium is almost like, I don't know how to compare it. You don't really promote yourself there. You promote your content. It's almost like a diary of some sort, right? You don't want to go there and just regurgitate what's on your blog. You want to go there to possibly talk about a topic that interests you that's outside of your website's area. So I talk a lot about entrepreneurship on Medium. And then every once in a while I will copy and paste one of my blog posts. But it's a really cool place for you to exchange, for you to interact and meet other content creators. And that's kind of the purpose. Remember that this is the same concept as social media. It's not a sprint. You will not see results right away. But the purpose is nurturing and building relationships, and at the same time you will drive traffic. The next thing is, the last one is Reddit, and that's almost the same thing as Growth Hackers and Inbound in a sense. You do not want to come right off in Reddit and post your own content right away. You almost want to almost have to like let Reddit see that you're not trying to just go in there and promote your own content. You also, with all of these, you also don't want to go in there and self-promote and spam. I really do think Reddit is really tough on that. I actually remember the first time that I used Reddit years ago, I got a note back saying that they were not going to allow my post for those reasons. It was a promotional post. So you've got to be careful. You really do authentically want to engage with others, and at the same time really share good content. Not every piece of content that you create has to be pitching your business opportunity or your MLM or your services. Of course you want to, but you have to have a healthy mix. 80% of your content really should not be about you and your business and your opportunities and your services. It really should be how to help your audience, no matter what niche you're in. And I don't want to get into that now because that's a completely different video. All right. But you don't want to consistently create content that at the end of that video or at the end of that blog post, hey, click here to, and whatever that call to action is going to be, always, that gets tiring. And your audience is going to just turn off. They're going to just turn off. They're not going to want to click on your link. They don't want to read what you have to talk about because all she talks about is herself. She's always trying to pitch me something. People do not like that. People do not like that. People hate they hate being sold to. It's just something that it will really, you're going to sabotage your own marketing efforts if that's what you constantly do. If you lead with really good, valuable content, believe me, you will reap the results. And that is having strong relationships with your audience. The next one is number 6, reposting on social media. And I wanted to make this its own strategy and its own point here because there's a reason why you want to repost. And I mentioned earlier that you want to keep in mind that if you're posting for stay-at-home moms, you want to do it first thing in the morning. Or if you're posting for somebody that works a 9 to 5, you post it after 5:30, 6 o'clock. Within that comment that I just made, you have to keep in mind that people have different habits. You have to keep in mind that that guy that works till 5 may not come home till 11 because maybe he goes to the gym and then he goes to play baseball and then maybe he goes to hang out with his buddies at the bar and then he comes home at 11:30 to check his news feed and then he goes to bed. You don't want to assume that everybody lives in the same kind of scheduled, everybody within a certain segment is in the same schedule. No. What you want to do so that you don't drive yourself absolutely nuts trying to figure out what time to post where is post multiple times in each one of your platforms, not on the same day, not back to back, I wouldn't even say that, but within a couple of days, put a couple of days in between. One day you post in the afternoon, another day you post first thing in the morning, another day you post later on in the evening, another day you post maybe at lunchtime, and you do that a couple of times. On Twitter, I've posted the same blog post multiple times. One time I super late, another day super early, another day in the middle of the afternoon, and every single time was interaction. So you don't want to assume a certain group of people is on a certain platform at a certain time. And in order for you to not drive yourself absolutely nuts, what you want to do is just post multiple times. And in order for you to do this without it taking up so much of your time, use a scheduling app. So I use Buffer to schedule some of my stuff. You'll rarely see me schedule. You'll rarely see me with a post that's actually scheduled, and you can see when something is scheduled on Facebook specifically. I really try not to. I really do try to be intentional when I'm on social media, and I try to post something at that moment. I very rarely try to. So very rarely schedule on Buffer. But when there are stuff that I want to promote and that I want to kind of remember, or if I want to just do promotional memes or motivational memes, those kind of things I will do on Buffer sometimes. But if you do have, if you are that kind of person that you like to schedule things, then use a scheduling app and you can schedule that specific post multiple times. And that way it's set it and forget it. The last thing is social share buttons. This is a very small, minute detail that a lot of people forget. It's a plugin. I use Simple Share plugins, I think. Just get a plugin and it goes at you tell it where to go. I have mine at the bottom of my post. And if somebody feels compelled to share, then they click on it and they share it. The whole point of all 7 of these is to kind of cover your bases, right? You want to be everywhere. And you don't want to assume anything. You want to make sure that you're going to find your audience where you know your audience is. And I did hear someone say in a video the other day, I don't remember where it was, is, try to master one social media platform when you're first starting out. And to be quite honest, that's bullshit. You don't need to master social media, Facebook, before you can even attempt to go on Instagram. Just post, share a meme, share a post, do it once. It's not about mastering anything. Marketing is not this formula that you have to be so robotic about it and you have to master it. Just do it. Do it. It should become part of your everyday. I don't think about social media. I do it. it's part of what I love to do, of course. So it's I may be a little bit different than some of you, but you need to look at social media as the way you can organically connect with millions of people from around the world without paying a single penny. So adding to that, if you want to boost your exposure, then yes, you want to pay. I don't think that free traffic is gonna happen, to you in 24 hours unless you create this insanely sick meme that just goes viral, and now all of a sudden you have 50,000 followers overnight, right? That is completely possible. That's the coolest thing about social media. That's why I love it. You're one viral post away from being internet famous. So yes, that's completely possible. But in the meantime, if you feel like you're not progressing forward quickly enough, then pay for an ad and spend $5 a day, the same amount of money you probably spend on your cup of coffee every morning, to run an ad and drive traffic to your website. The most effective way to drive traffic to your website, in my opinion, if you want it to happen tonight, right now, is to pay for traffic. There's no way around it. Absolutely, if you want it done right now, don't bitch about it. Don't complain that your Facebook shares or that your Facebook isn't really driving traffic to your website. Don't complain that social media isn't working. Pay for ads. Pay for ads. And you will get tons of traffic to your website. You literally get what you pay for. So if you do social media the good old-fashioned organic way, then you're gonna get people to engage with you. But that's not gonna happen tonight unless you get super lucky and you get that really funny meme that just gets shared throughout Facebook and Instagram and all these other places, and ta-da, you're internet famous. So I did want to close with that, because although all of these things are free, all of these 7 things that I just mentioned to you just now are all free, and they all work, okay? They do all work. They will never work as quickly and as effective, given the time frame that you want to give yourself, as paid advertising. However, you still want to promote. You need a healthy distribution mix. You don't want to just rely solely on running an ad on Facebook. You don't want to rely solely on posting on Twitter. You don't want to rely solely on posting this video on YouTube and that's it. Nobody else, nowhere else is going to see it. So you want to be proactive when it comes to creating your content. You wonder why you're not getting hits on your website, on your blog, and how, people tell you, well, you should be able to drive traffic to your website to generate leads and all this stuff. Well, it starts with driving traffic. And you can drive traffic for free by having a consistent strategy and by running ads. Don't only rely on ads and don't only rely on organic attempts. You need to combine both of them. So I hope this video helped. If you have any kind of questions, leave me a comment down below. I would love to hear them. If you have any other type of content marketing, distribution hacking tips, share them down below. I love any type of marketing hacks that I could share with you and that I can implement in my business. So definitely leave those down below. I'm going to remember to link anything that I mentioned in this video also down below. If you want to read this blog post, or if you want to check out any of the other kind of content or any of the other blog posts that I've created, check my website. It's down below, and I will see you there. All right, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.